Hi, as a USCCA and NRA self-defense instructor, my main goal is to teach. So today, I want to share most of the highlights of my CCW permit training. So if you're already carrying or considering it, I hope this video will help. And I know this is a little lengthy because I really want to cover what I think is the most important part of the class. And this includes active shooting class as well. Okay, first, you guys know who I am. So I'm Dr. Park, and I was a plastic surgeon. I retired 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, because I didn't want to stay in the white office for the rest of my life. And I like hunting and fishing and shooting, and I figure if I retire like most other doctors, like age 65 or 70, then I'm gonna be too old. Okay, so on page 16, what they're telling is that a lot of times people think violent crimes is not something that we see often, especially where we live. It's very safe. But in reality, it's about 1.2 to 1.6 million per year. So that's a lot of crimes. Let's go to the next page. Now, concealed carry, people think it's all about carrying a gun and defending yourself, but it actually starts from the prevention. So the prevention is the key. You can actually prevent 99% of the crime from happening. Because most criminals, there are opportunities. They're looking for a chance, and if they don't see the chance, and if they don't feel safe, they'll walk away. They're not going to risk themselves going into jail for. Look at the table, we have avoid, escape, and defend. So avoid is that it gives you about 1 to 5 minute time. So for example, let's say you're walking down the street and you see a group of people there. And you feel like they're not very friendly, and you could, most people could feel the vibe. Now, at this point, you have two choices. Do I continue to walk, hoping nothing will happen, or do I turn around and take the other way? In most cases, nothing happens. And that's the bad habit. People think, well, nothing happened last time, so this time you should be safe. And then when that one time happens, it could be your life, or you could be discredited, or you could get violently attacked. So you don't want to take any chance. Okay, next is escape. And that's about 30 seconds. So that's between about 20 to about 30 yards. Now, if you feel like, for example, if you see somebody coming at you, and this happened to me in, DC when my kids were young, we spend the whole day in DC, and on the weekend, we had to park the car kind of far back. So we're walking there, and it was kind of getting dark, and I see 3 guys walking toward me, coming across the street with a map in their hand. So at this point, I was thinking like, they could be friendly, looking for whatever, or they're just, trying to corner us in. So without telling my family, I started walking backwards, keeping a distance. And they was like, excuse me, we're not from here, da 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 da. So I kept walking back, and I told them stop, and I told them I'm not from here. And then they looked at each other, and they just turned around and walked away. Now my wife thought I was a little crazy. She's like, honey, what? But thing is, I was raised in LA, in a rough neighborhood. So this was kind of ingrained to me. But a lot of times, who never has experience like that, they would actually, if a bad guy says excuse me, most people would actually stop and try to listen to them. They won't come out and scream at you and say like, I'm gonna attack you, because that's a sign to run. But usually they would say like, excuse me. That's when people stop and try to listen what's going on. Okay, so that's escape. We don't have to be aggressive, but if I see someone and if I don't feel comfortable, I will look right them in the eye, and I will give them a nod. Just let them know I'm watching you. And sometimes just give them a little smile, and then that diffuses the whole thing. But if the criminal knows that they're being watched, they will not attack you, because they lost the surprise element of the whole attack thing. So they want to be able to surprise you where you're thinking, oh my God, this can't happening, not I'm ready to defend. As long as you avoid that, they're not going to attack you, because they got other fishes to attack. You're not the only fish in the sea. Next is defend. That's about 5 feet to about 10 feet, distance. Most criminals, when they actually attack, it's between 3 to 5 seconds. So I try to teach my students that you have to be able to protect yourself within 3 seconds of time. When you couldn't avoid it, when you can't escape it, and when you have to defend yourself, you have to actually unholster your gun. Stop the attack by shooting it or by him running away. A lot of times people carry gun, but they're not mentally ready. I always tell them, don't think about this as killing, okay? This is defending. Now, killing is something that you kill without really fighting for your life, okay? Now, defend is either you or them, okay? So before you actually consider carry, you really have to think, can I shoot somebody if I need to defend myself?
answer for me on that is really easy. If I feel my family is threatened, if I feel myself is threatened, and if somebody's trying to attack me just for their own personal greedy reason or their own personal pleasure, I have no pity for that other person, not at all. I'm a hunter. I don't want to say killing comes easy for me, but once I make up my mind to pull the trigger, it's done. I'm not contemplating, sitting there thinking, should I or should I not? Okay, so you have to have that mentality in your head. When you're carrying, you have to know, if I need to defend myself, I'm not even gonna worry about it. Okay. And thing is, you have to trust your instinct. A lot of times, because there's so many legal stuff that's involved in it, people get really confused, thinking like, if I shoot or if I unholster my gun, what are the legal consequences? All that stuff. Okay. And I'm sure you guys already heard this. You rather plead to a 12 than be carried out by 6. Okay. So if you could stand in court trying to defend yourself, you're alive and you're able to defend yourself. Okay. But if you can't make it to the court, you're 6 feet under. So make sure you're ready for that mentally. Okay. In the movie, you see a bad guy getting shot once and they fly or they go through the windows or whatever. That never happens. They'll keep coming at you. When you decide to pull your gun and shoot, you have to shoot till the attack stops. Not shoot and see what happens, because he's gonna shoot right back at you. Okay, so when the attack stops, that's when you stop shooting. Now you never shoot after the attack stops. Next page is situational awareness. Nowadays, a lot of people are kind of like very unaware of their surroundings, and the main reason is the cell phone. Because when you're texting, I do myself when I'm texting, when I'm walking, I don't even know who's right next to me. If you have to text, it's best to text in the store. But if you have to text on the street or whatever, actually stop walking, put your bag against the wall, and then so you could actually watch, and then you could text, and you got nobody attacking you. Okay. Before, I always tell my kids, don't listen to music when you're walking, because as soon as a bad guy sees somebody with an earphone on, that's a sign of easy prey. Okay. Nowadays, cell phone is even easier. When you feel threatened, it's not only when the bad guys have a knife or a gun or a baseball bat or metal pipe. It could be 3 guys or 1 guy without any weapons coming at you, and you're telling them, I feel threatened, stop, don't. And if they keep coming at you, that's a real threat. Let's say the guy comes within 3 yards. Now that's a red zone, and he continue coming. You have a right to protect yourself. The criminal don't always have to have guns and knives and baseball bats coming at you. If they're into your red zone, and if you tell them, don't, I feel threatened, don't stop. If you feel unsafe, first expose your pistol. Okay, and have your hand on the pistol and have your hand out and just say, don't, stop, right there. Now, at this point, you have no legal liability at all. Now, as soon as you unholster your pistol, you have to call 911 and let them know what happened, even though you didn't fire anything. Because CCW permit gives you to carry, not to unholster. Okay, you could only unholster when you feel the immediate danger. If you know for a fact he's coming at you, and usually when you tell somebody don't stop and they come into your red zone distance, they have a different intention. They want to be at the distance where they could attack you really fast and just completely overpower you. So this color-coded awareness was developed by Jeff Cooper. So he developed for the Marines. So there are 4 codes. Number 1 is level white. It's a complete unawareness. Again, in most cases, either they're listening to their music or looking at their cell phone or sitting in their living room thinking nothing's gonna happen here. Code white is something that you don't want to be when you're out in the street. Okay. And then next we have a code yellow. Yellow is when you're aware of your surroundings. As I mentioned, when you're walking down the street, you're not uncomfortable with some group of people, and again, if you feel uncomfortable, look them in the eye, give them a good nod, just smile, just let them know that I'm watching you, or just say, hey. Funny thing about ladies, if they feel threatened, if they see somebody that scares them, even my wife, she'll actually look away and continue the path. That's like perfect scenario for the criminals. They're not looking at your face and they're still coming right in front of them and saying, attack me. So you just have to make sure that they know that you're watching. And at the same time, you kind of have to look where you could escape or where you could hide. Criminals, if they can't do what they need to do in a real fast pace, they will not attack you. So they want to get boom, boom, and get out. They don't want to chase you, hide behind the building or behind the pillar or behind the car. They're not going to chase you circling the car. They're just going to say, like, well, she's ready. I'm getting out of here. Just last week, we went to Tyson's Corner to watch Top Gun 2. And I saw one guy having a backpack on his back. And you could see it's kind of heavy because it was sagging down. And my wife went into the restroom. I went to the restroom, came out earlier. I'm waiting for her. And I see a guy carrying a backpack going to the restroom. So I immediately follow them, just to make sure he's not going in there, getting their guns ready or whatever. So I just walked in there, and then I see him taking a leg. He turned around, and I'm just pretending I'm washing my hands. And then he turned around, and then, now if he run into the toilet, and if I hear something that I don't like, then I was either gonna get out of there, call 911 or whatever. It could be false alarm, but it's always better to be safe. So, and then when he was done, he washed his hand, walked out. So I just went like, that was nothing. But it's always to be better to check than being completely unaware. Okay, so that's code yellow. Being aware, knowing if something happens, know where to escape or where to hide. And then next is orange. Orange is when you feel that there is a real threat. Like for example, like in DC, 3 guys are approaching me. At that point, I felt this is orange level right there. 3 guys are approaching me. I have a family. I have 2 little kids, and they know I'm not gonna run without them. So the little kids are like, when you're carrying a grocery bag or holding a child's hand, that's a perfect target for the bad guys because they know that's not gonna leave them and run. Okay, and I always tell them, if you feel threatened, let everything go and start walking back. But you're willing to drop everything and defend yourself. And in DC, I didn't have a gun with me, but I actually had my hand in my pocket, and I had my hands out. So right there, they know this is a shooting position, so they don't want to deal with it. Okay, so you don't have to have a gun. Just act like you do, or act like you're aware and you're ready. Then they're not gonna attack you. Okay. Level orange is when you really feel a real threat, and at this point you have to decide: am I gonna run, or am I gonna escape, or am I gonna be hide behind the car, or am I gonna scream? So this is where you have to either diffuse the whole situation, or next level is defending yourself. So you can see that she has her hand out, making it very clear. And when you make a demand, I always tell them, bark like a cops do. Stop. No. You don't have to say, excuse me, I don't understand. You just have to bark the order and make it simple and clear so they understand they're not welcome. Okay. And if they still continue to come, then you know that's a real threat. Okay. At the level orange, you might actually have your pistol exposed and say like, stop, don't. Or if they're holding something, drop your weapon or whatever. Okay. So when you're barking the order, think yourself as a cop. One thing that bad guys hate is cops demand. Cops say, drop your weapon, stop right there. No. So when they hear that, they're mentally already thinking about cops, and they don't want to come anywhere near you. They might think he's actually a real cop, off-duty cop or whatever. Okay. At the orange level, you might actually have your gun exposed, barking the order. Okay. Level red. Now this is where you have to take an action. Okay. It's time to defend yourself. You really don't have any other choice. Okay. So you can't escape. You can't hide, and the threat is immediate, right up on you. Within that red zone, and this is where you have to either protect yourself or become a victim. Okay, and this is where I tell you have to decide yourself, thinking if things happen, am I gonna shoot or not? And unless your answer is yes, don't carry, because if you're carrying, bad guys know that you have a gun. He has no choice. He has to shoot you, because if he doesn't shoot, he's gonna die. So he knows that, but he doesn't know that you're not ready to shoot. He automatically thinks he's gonna shoot me if I don't defend myself. So as soon as the bad guy sees the gun, if they didn't run, he has no choice. He has to either shoot you or get shot. So unless you're really ready to pull the trigger, don't carry. So if you look at the page 40, you see a blind spot. When you're using a cell phone, everything's a blind spot. You're not looking at anything but your screen. Okay. When you're walking past the buildings or like a dumpster, behind it is a blind spot. So as I told you before, if you see something, if you're not comfortable, make a white circle. Make a white circle and take a look and make sure there's nothing there. And if there's somebody behind there, look at them and just smile and give them a nod. And they will defuse the whole thing. I always tell the ladies, don't be polite. This is so crucial. Like us guys, I could be real nice, but if I need to defend myself, I could be very rude. And the reason I'm being rude is to defuse the situation, not to get into a fight. If you escalate the situation, it's a little different story. But if you act rude just to make sure that they stop, then that's fine. Okay. So, ladies, if a bad guy comes up and they never come at you like a bad guy, they will say like, "Excuse me, can you help?" Those are the very common. And most ladies, they will say like, yes or whatever. So my daughter Rachel, she was always into helping people. So that was my biggest concern. And I would tell Rachel, like a real scenarios when she was in high school. If you see a van parked in the front and he's holding like a sofa and saying like, oh, excuse me, can you just hold that end? That's big time, because, and then you go there help, and now you have both hands on the sofa. He could come behind you, whack in the head with a hammer or whatever, and you're done. So you could be polite, not rude, and just say, "I'm sorry, I'm late," and just walk away. But just make it short. You don't need to explain your life story. Just say like, "I'm sorry, I'm late." Just walk away. Okay. As soon as they hear "I'm sorry," they know it's over. They're not gonna say like, "No, you're not an attack." Okay. Mm-hmm. They got to their car. People approached them from behind and demand for the keys and everything. Now, he should just give the key. Just throw it. Now, usually when you give your key or your wallet or whatever, never hand it to them. Okay, throw it on the floor. Now, as soon as you throw it and you see their reaction to pick it up, run. That's your given chance, especially for the ladies. Now, ladies, if they hand the key, they'll get the key and they say like, get in the car. Now, this is a complete different story. Okay, so this could turn out really bad, or it could turn out not so bad. Okay, so if somebody's near your car or anywhere demanding for something, never hand it to them. Some people say like throw, but then I don't recommend this, because if you throw too far, some bad people get pissed off and shoot at you. I seen this happen to my buddy in LA. You don't want to piss them off, so throw on the floor within like 2-3 yards away. Just throw on the floor, just enough for him to react, and then you run the other way. Okay. And a lot of times people think like, if I run, I might get shot. It's not true. In most cases, unless you are their number one enemy, if somebody runs, they want to get what they need and run the other way. They're not going to run with you, okay? Okay, next is a home security inspection. This is something really simple. Lock your windows, lock your doors. I have my lights really bright outside, and my wife didn't like it at first. But then, if you see dim lights, and if you see one house with a bright light, criminals aren't going to come into the bright light because they're too exposed, okay? They're going to look for dim light, okay? So if you can, it's good to have a light bright outside, and make sure you have a sign that says like, you could buy like stickers put on your windows saying this house is alarmed or whatever. I have all around my house. Having an alarm is really good. I have, alarm that I use, I actually bought it from Amazon. I think I paid like $35 for it. And it's got a motion detection, and I cover all the like entrance, hallways, so nobody could go through without alarm going off. And it's actually really loud. It goes off, and after like 3 minutes, it would actually stop, and unless there's another movement, okay? So you don't have to spend a lot of money. People think like alarm, that's $80-$90 a month. I'm not gonna go there. You don't have to go there. Go to Amazon, buy one with a motion detection, with a loud, sirens, and that's all you need. This is kind of funny, but everybody has an alarm, but they don't know. It's your car's panic button. I use that a lot, and my wife thinks like, oh, it's too loud. I'm like, well, there's a reason why they put it there. It's for you to use. So sometimes I go fishing at night, and parking lot, I see people that I don't really like hanging around my car. From an able distance, I'll just push the panic button, and it goes off, and then I'll say louder, and I'll say like, oops, and I'll just shut it off, thinking like I did it accidentally. Mm-hmm. And it will send them off. They'll just walk away and say like, whoa, man, what's going on? And they'll just walk away, right? But I don't want to get there and find out. I act like you pushed it accidentally, and just say like, sorry, and they'll just walk away. And that's all you need, especially for the ladies too. When you get into your car, and if you feel unsafe and you don't see anybody, and you think there's nobody there, but you feel unsafe, press the panic button and just shut it off real quick. Just all you need is 3 seconds of silence. Shut it off. And if there was a bad guy, you'll see him running. If there wasn't a bad guy, it's quiet. So use your panic button. And even at home, if you hear something outside, and I see people carrying their guns or saying like, shh, be quiet. That's the worst thing you want to do. If you think you heard something, you want to be noisy and loud. So if you feel like you heard something, push the panic button. Your car goes off outside in the driveway, the guys in the house are going to run out. Okay, they're not going to hang around and wait. Okay, and then page 53. So what is CCW permit? Legally, what that means is that you are allowed to carry what's normally considered illegal to carry. That's all it is. Okay, now everybody has right to defend themselves. Okay, so it doesn't give you a right to defend yourself. You have the right to defend yourself. Now, what this is not is that it doesn't make you a deputy to save everybody. It's not for me to go save the world. only time that I would actually shoot is that if I know that I could stop the threat or attack right in front of me. Let's say within 10 yards, it's happening, and I could draw and shoot accurately enough to drop him on the spot. I would do it. Let's say you put your gun out, you start shooting. You feel lucky, let's say you stopped the shooter, but you shot 3 other people. Who's responsible for that 3 people?
You are.
It's your bullet. You pull the trigger, okay? Now the jury's gonna argue, maybe those 3 people didn't have to die. Maybe if he didn't pull the trigger. Now one thing you don't want is, if you're carrying a gun, for example, let's say you're driving and there's some crazy guy cutting you off or whatever, and they open their window and say, they cuss at you and they say something like, I'm gonna kill you, whatever. Now if you're carrying, and if it's I'm gonna kill you, it becomes a real threat. Now if you're not carrying, and if it's I'm gonna kill you, it's just bluff. And cops have no problem you saying, I'm gonna kill you without gun, okay? But if you have a gun, and if you tell somebody I'm gonna kill you, and there's a witness saying, well, he was threatening to kill him from the very get-go. Now that is a complete difference. Now if you're carrying and if you threat somebody to kill, then it could be a manslaughter, even though you didn't unholster your pistol. Okay, so when you have a gun, you have to be more nicer. I don't want to say nicer, but very careful to choose your words and trying to avoid the situation, diffuse the situation, not escalate it. Now, having your hand on your gun when you feel the threat and say like, I have a gun, stop, don't. Right there, you have, you're within all your rights because CCW permit gives you right to carry. So right there, you have no problem. As soon as you unholster it, it's a different story. Okay, so when you unholster, you must call 911, let them know what happened. Let them know that you are the intended victim, and you unholster the gun because you feel the immediate danger, and the bad guy ran, whatever, and just say, I just wanted to just report, just in case somebody else report. Now, one thing you don't want to do is, especially the bad neighbor situation, the guy who started the fight, his wife could be watching him from the house and say like, oh my God, and then call the cops and like, he's got a gun, he's threatening my husband, whatever. When the cop shows up, who has the gun? You have the gun, even though you didn't start it, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a completely different story. So if you unholster your gun, make sure you be the first one to report. Okay, you don't want somebody else giving their side of the story first. Okay. Okay, as for the university gun safety and how to properly handle the gun, we're gonna do it later with the real guns. Okay, so we're gonna kind of skip this area. Okay. Okay, let's talk about the different option of self-defense. And we have a pepper spray, we have taser, and we have a real gun, right? If you're gonna carry a pepper spray, make sure it's exposed. Let the bad guys know that you're carrying. Make it nice and bright, and there's no law against carrying anyway. Carry on your side with an orange holster. They sell it, so when somebody sees you, they know you got pepper spray, and they don't want to get sprayed. When real thing happens, pepper spray is something that you don't want to pull out. When they get really hyped up and they're attacking, you spray them, they'll keep coming at you. It doesn't do I hate to say this word, but it doesn't do a crap. The pepper spray, unless you're trying to defuse a situation, pepper spray is not the choice, okay? Next, we have a taser. Now, taser is a good choice, but thing is, you have one shot. If you miss, then you're done. You could still put it on him and tase him, but the attacker who's attacking you is going to be a lot stronger than you. He's going to hit a lot harder, and he's been practicing. And when they hit, they want to make sure one hit, your lights out. And they practice, okay? So if you count on the fact that you could actually put a taser on a person and zap him while he's attacking you, it's not going to happen. So if you shoot one time and you miss, you're done. Next is actual pistol. In my opinion, if you have to carry something legally to protect yourself, go with a pistol. Okay, now one thing you do not want to do is have all three or have two of it. Okay, let's say you have a pistol and you have a taser and you feel the immediate danger and you know for a fact taser wasn't good enough. You put your gun, you stop the attack. Now the cop's gonna have everything on the report, and the jury's gonna say like, why did you pull the pistol out? You had a different option. You could argue all you want, and they would say you had two options, and you decided to go with deadly force without trying out the first one. Now, if you only had the pistol, there is no question. That's all you had. That's all you could defend yourself with. Okay. So I'm not saying your priority is to shoot somebody. It's not. But if you're trying to defend yourself, and you did everything accordingly, and if you had two defensive weapons, jury's gonna look at it differently. They're gonna say like, he had an option, but he decided not to use the, less force, but use the deadly force. So you don't want to go there. Okay, so just carry one option. Okay.
There is one thing I wanted to discuss.
Sure.
I just recently saw a video online where a man, apparently his car had broken down, and like maybe 10 to 15 teenagers came and were assaulting him. Would you consider...
That's a real threat. If I had my car broken down, and if I'm dealing with my, whatever, and if I'm considered carrying, if I see not 10 people, but even 2 or 3 coming at me, and I tell them, I'm fine, I don't need your help. Just say very clear, because they will come at you saying, hey man, you need help. That's their fault. Especially ladies, if they're pulled over in the car, they want your car. They don't want, or they want your purse, or they might even search your section or whatever. They're gonna approach you with words like, "Hey, you need help" or whatever. First thing you say is like, I've already made my call. I'm fine. I don't need your help. Just make it very clear. And if they still come at you, I'm gonna expose my gun and say like, I don't need your help. Be serious and just bark at them. Stop. No. That's it. If they don't walk away, then you go into the orange level where you're ready to defend yourself. And at this point, if they keep coming at you beyond, or if they have a weapon or whatever exposed coming at you, then like you say, you have 3 seconds to protect yourself.
Even if it's teenagers,
it doesn't matter who it is.
You want to end up alive in the end.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because you know the bad intention. You could sense it right off. If you sense a threat, let them know they're not welcome. One thing that you don't want to do is like, you don't want to give warning shots or shoot somebody in the leg or whatever, okay? Because when you give warning shot, it means you have time. Jury's gonna say, well, you pull your gun prematurely, way too early, okay? So you escalate the whole situation into a gunfight, okay? Now, let's say you're trying to aim for the legs or shoulder or whatever, okay? Let's say you miss. It happens. If you miss, and if he's got a gun, he's gonna aim right at your chest, not at your legs, okay? But again, you have to make it very clear with a command, barking, letting them know they're not welcome, okay? If you do it very quietly, politely, and then if it escalates, and then you pull your gun out to protect yourself, if there is a witness, they're gonna say like, wait, it didn't look too bad, but he just pulled his gun out. You know what I'm saying? But if you're barking at him, and then if there's anybody watching, then they will say like, he was clearly saying no. He was clearly saying like, stop. But those kids won't stop. The hardest part is practicing barking. Because when I used to barking like policemen do, and they actually trained it. So on my advanced class, I'm going to teach them how to bark. I mean, when you practice, it becomes natural, really. Okay, we're going to talk about the gun grip and everything later with a real gun. So having your hand full extend, having your head tucked down to the side, and everything is aiming right at the chest. Okay, don't do headshots. Okay, headshot is the worst thing you can do. Okay, because you'll be surprised. If you see boxers, right, when they jab, their speed is less than like 0.23 seconds, and they're still waving away from. That's how fast your head moves. Okay, so when you have somebody pointing at your head, the first thing they're gonna duck, and you're gonna miss. Now, when you're pointing at their chest, they really can't move fast enough to move away from the line of fire. Never aim for the head. You see, because I see this a lot in YouTube, and some people say like, practicing how to, headshots and stuff like that. That's purely for entertainment or ignorance. Point and shoot, not aim and shoot. We're naturally able to point something. For example, if you point at anything with your hand, and then if you take your eye to that point, you're actually pointing right at where you wanted to point. So we've been doing this since we were little. So we can point and look, and you're right on it. So that's what the pistol is doing. Now the difference is that when you're holding a pistol, it's got the elevation. So the point of impact changes. So, but if you practice enough, that becomes your point of impact. That's why we need to practice. We have what we call target focus, front side focus. Front side focus is most accurate. That's when you have your pistol out and your focus is in the front side, and everything else is kind of blurred. Okay, so this is where you could shoot most accurately. Okay, now target focus is you're looking at a target, but your sight and your pistol is completely blurred. A lot of times you're not even looking at it if you're point shooting. Okay, now most people, when they practice at the range, they are practicing front side focus. They take their time, they look at their sight, boom, boom, boom. Now when the bad guy with a gun is coming at you, what is your eyes going to be focused on? It's not going to be your sights. It's going to be the guy, a threat. So if you don't practice target focus shooting or on-sighted, a target shooting, when the real thing happens, you'd be surprised how you could miss something in that short distance. Okay. This is how everybody practice. front side focus. But when things happen, nobody does front side focus. Unless you have 10 seconds handicap when things happen, okay? And that's not gonna happen. So right-handed person, when they shoot at a target, they miss left low. The reason is because these 3 fingers here moves with your trigger finger. So when you pull, your gun automatically pulls this way. Or when you anticipate a shot, you're thinking like, it's gonna go bang, so you're getting ready to go bang, okay? My wife does it a lot, and I keep telling her, don't think about the bang, just think about the trigger, and then you hit the target. And the main reason is that because when it goes bang, your hand goes backwards like this. So you want to control it, so you're trying to push it down before it goes bang, and you end up shooting low. I can't believe the weather we have, perfect weather.
One day out of the whole week.
I know. So when you emailed me, I looked at the calendar and the weather and I said like, oh my God, we have a perfect one day. There's a rules of governing the use of deadly force outside the home. So this is what we actually kind of went through. When can you use it, okay? When you can't avoid it, when you can escape it, and the real danger or threat is upon you immediately, and there's no other choice, and you have no other option except for the deadly force. We talked about the taser or pepper spray. Don't have it in your pocket. So this is the only choice you have to protect yourself, okay? This is when you could use it. When can you stop? You could stop when the attack stops. You have to be the innocent party. Let's say you're carrying, okay? You get into an argument, and you're the one who's being aggressive, cussing at the person and saying like, come on, I dare you, come on. If you're at the situation, then you're the aggressor, okay? If you escalate the situation and if other guy pulls the gun and you shoot him first or whatever, you are still the aggressor and you're the one who's the criminal. You can't be the bad guy. You have to be the innocent party. You cannot be the one who escalates the situation. You cannot escalate. You have to constantly try to defuse the situation. So like, I don't want this, stop, don't come close. That's all you need to do, okay? Don't cuss at them. Don't say like, hey, I'm carrying, don't F with me. That's escalation. If the bad guy attacks you, and if the bad guy shoots you and you're dead, who they're gonna, prosecute? The bad guy, right? Now, if bad guy attacks you and you're able to defend yourself, and the bad guy dies, or severely injured, who they're gonna prosecute? They're gonna make a case against you, not the bad guy. Now, all of a sudden, you become a target. They're building a case, they're writing everything down. Prosecutors, all of a sudden, you become a target. So you have to be very careful what you say or what you do. Next page, we're talking about using a deadly force to defend your home. Now, let's say you're in your house watching a TV, and then one of you said, like, look, somebody's stealing my Mercedes. What you gonna do? You can use deadly force to protect your property. Now, most people, when I ask them, they're gonna say, well, I'm gonna take my gun and try to stop them, right? What you have to do is, if you feel like somebody's stealing your car, call 911, give a description, tell them to call, let them know, what direction it went, what the guy looked like. That's all you can do, okay? And that's all you should do. But honestly, that's not easy. Okay, now Shark Tank, this was kind of interesting to me. Now, they say, let's say you go to a aquarium, there's a giant tank, and you see a real shark swimming around, and let's say you drop your wedding ring. Would you jump in?
No.
Okay. Let's say your baby fell in. Would you jump in?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what they're saying is, unless, think Shark Tank when you're carrying a pistol, okay? Now, if you're carrying a pistol and somebody's trying to steal your ring or your wallet or your car, would you jump into Shark Tank? No, right? So we're not going to pull our gun. But only time we pull our gun or jump into our Shark Tank is when we feel our loved ones are in danger, or when I'm in an immediate danger. Before they drown or whatever, I'm going to react to it. So that's when you pull your gun, okay?
That's a pretty good analogy.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. This kind of gets interesting. As a medical doctor, I'm very familiar with this, but a lot of people, they don't understand this and they practice without putting this into their, training. So when you have the fight or flight response, and this happens to everybody in military, policemen, or anybody even street fighting, So as a deer hunter, this happens to me every time I see a deer. So first thing happens is that you have a tunnel vision. Same thing with deer hunting. When I'm shooting, when I see a deer, let's say I shot a deer 50 yards, 80 yards, and if I look at my videos, they look far away, but in that moment, I clearly see their muscle movements. I mean, everything just zooms in. So I could put the crosshair exactly where I want to pull the trigger, they drop on the spot. Easy way to do it is like, if I have my hands out here, and then if I have my hands out here, and I ask you to look at this, and then tell me how many fingers I have on this hand, you can't tell. Now, That's a tunnel vision. You're focusing on one thing. Next is diminished sound. Okay. Now this is really weird. Like for example, like if I'm target shooting without an ear protection, it gets really loud and my ears are ringing. That's in page 179. So my ears are ringing, but when I'm hunting, you'd be surprised you don't hear the bang. It just sounds like a pop, and you don't feel the recoil. It's just like boom, and then you're so focused. After you pull your trigger, you're just looking at the deer, make sure which way he ran, and that's all you're thinking. The next thing we have is slow motion, and this is really weird too. This really helps me because when I'm hunting, and when I see deer come out, my adrenaline's running, my heart's pumping, I got everything ready, and I'm waiting for the perfect, second. And when I'm on, I pull the trigger, I drop it, and I say like, thank you, God. And I look at my video, and I'm thinking that's at least 10 seconds, right? Look at my video, that's like 1.5 or 2 seconds. So that everything's like real slow motion. So you could move a lot faster in that slow motion period. Now, only thing is, back guy also has the same effect. So the speed doesn't really give you advantage when you're fighting the back guy. Next is loss of memory. This is really weird too. Not only that you have false memory, but you also have a loss of memory. Did a research with policemen who's been on a deadly encounter, and they did memory tests, and they were completely blank out at one section. They don't remember nothing. And next page there's a memory distortion. There was one case where after the shooting happens, you see this officers shouting, officer down, officer down. He could have swore he saw his partner get shot on the ground bleeding out, and he's screaming, and his partner is standing right next to him saying like, who's down, what's going on? He completely has different memory. So this is why we tell people don't talk to the cops in the aftermath, because your memory is not what might have really happened. And now if you give one false memory, and if the policeman or prosecutor knows that this is false memory, they're gonna say like, what else are you lying? Or what else are you fabricating? We're gonna go to that later, but aftermath, talking to cops is never a good idea unless you have your lawyer at present. So aftermath, okay? If you display your firearm but did not fire, okay, make 2 calls, okay? So first thing you call is that you call 911, okay? You give them your name, okay? You tell them, who you are, and tell them you're the intended, victim, and tell them about the background, what it looked like, what happened, where he went, okay? And let them know you have a CCW permit to carry, so it's not a problem. And then as soon as you do that, don't say anymore. Just say like, you have to let them know that what you're dressed, what you look like, okay? So when the policeman shows up, they know that who to look for, that you're not the bad guy. And after you just tell them, I have to go now, and just hang up. Don't talk anymore, okay? Hang up, and then next and then you have to call your lawyer. Now, if you show your gun without unholstering it, you don't even have to go there. You have a right to carry, so you could say like, thank God, and just walk away, okay? But if you unholster, you have to make these 2 calls, and then second call your lawyer, let them know what happened. I had to unholster my gun. I call 911. I've already reported it, and then they let him do what he needs to do. 911 say like, don't go anywhere, stay there, wait for the cops to show up. Unfortunately, you just have to wait there and for the policeman to come. And when they come, just say like, I've already talked to my lawyer, they're on the way, and I'm not gonna say anything else. I'm just gonna wait for them, and they will respect it. But a lot of times, policemen will come and they will say like, because you're the good guy, and they say like, you did nothing wrong. I'm so happy that you're able to protect yourself. Since you didn't do nothing wrong, can I look at your car? And if you say like, yeah, because I'm an innocent guy here, yes, that's no. Okay, if they find, there was one case where they found box of ammunition in the car, and the prosecutor say he had enough ammunition to shoot 50 people. Now that's a completely different view. Now it's distorting it, but it's true. But when we buy ammunition, boxes is what we buy. You're not here to shoot 50 people with it, but that's how they can do it. Or if they find, let's say like prescription medicine, and they say like, are you depressed, or are you anxious, or are you in a lot of pain? Anything could get you in trouble. So by letting them look at your car or look at your house doesn't benefit you in any way. Just say like, no, I'm not giving any rights to search my car without a warrant or permission from my lawyer. That's where you stop. And cops will respect it. Now, when you fire, now if you fire, you need to make 3 calls. Number 1, 911, same thing. Number 2, lawyer. Number 3, call your family. Let them know what just happened. You might have a policeman come into the house, and if they say they want to come look into the house, say no. And this is where the problem happens. A lot of times policemen will come to the house and say like, your husband had this situation, and they were like, oh my God, my husband was shot out or whatever. And they say like, we know your husband's innocent, but we just need to come in, look at the house. And most times people say like, it's a policeman who wants to come in. They'll say like, okay, come in. Now they come in, they look at your house, they find other stuff. Okay, let's say your gun's not locked up, it's not in the gun safe, or your ammunition is not properly stored away, or whatever it can be. It becomes our problem. So let your family know. Policeman might come to your house, come to our house. Do not give them any permission to come in, okay, without the warrant or without the without lawyer at the present. Okay.
Even if there's a dead body laying in your house?
If there's somebody dead in the house, they obviously have to come in. Okay, that's a completely different story. That's a crime scene. Crime scene, they have a right to come in. But off the crime scene, your private, area, they don't have the right to come in unless they have warrant from the court. Now, let's say you gave all the information and the policeman comes up, and now if you don't feel the threat, you need to get your gun out. Okay, empty it, leave it on the ground, or leave it on top of the hood, hood of the car, where all the policemen can see, because they don't know who's the bad guy. When they show up to the scene, they're gonna look for the bad guy with a gun, or any guy with a gun. That's a potential threat. Okay, so when you don't have a gun with you, and you could clearly show it that is this plate safe, they're not gonna get into that, shoot mode. So and then you have to let them know that I'm the good guy, I was an innocent victim, this happened. Now there's a situation where policemen showing up, but you're not too sure if the bad guys are all gone. Maybe they might be still hiding somewhere. You feel the you still feel feel the threat. Let's say it's a bad neighborhood that you don't really belong there, and you just don't feel uncomfortable leaving your gun out. Then you could holster your gun, and just let the 911 know that I don't feel safe, so I have my gun in my holster, and I'm gonna keep it there till the policeman shows up. And this is how I dress. So da 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 da. So when the policeman comes, you could say, I have my gun in my holster because I didn't feel safe. And then they're gonna ask you, pull your gun out. Don't touch your gun unless they say pull your gun out, leave it on the ground or whatever. Okay, then 2-finger pull, leave it on the ground. Or you could just say, come and get it. I'm just gonna have my hands up. You could just come and take my gun, and they feel, as long as they they don't feel the threat, they're not gonna be very aggressive. Okay, you have to be ready to be handcuffed and put into car and taken down to police station. And number 2, before policeman come, just kind of look around and see where the shells are. Don't touch it. Just let these are the evidence, and so let the cops know where it is, because a lot of times they will miss it. Okay. And then number 3, if you know there's a witness, a lot of times witnesses will hang around till the cop shows up, and as soon as the cop shows up, they go like, oh, time to go, and they will run away. So just say like, him, her, whatever. The other witness, they've seen it, and then police gonna go and stop them before they get away, and they get their statement. And then number 4, let them know I've talked to my lawyer, he's on the way. So until he shows up, I'm not saying anything else. A lot of times we have like front carry, appendix carry, 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Okay, I don't recommend this. I don't recommend that. I don't recommend this. I don't recommend that. I only recommend this. Now the main reason is when you have it in the front, it bulges out, it shows, and when you're sitting up and down, it's very uncomfortable. And if crazy vision goes off, you're gonna lose part of your body. Especially male, it's not a pleasant area to get. So I don't like carrying it here, but a lot of people carry it here because it's easy to lift your shirt and pull gun out. So it's easy to do it. But the problem is, like I said, it's not comfortable. Now appendix, a lot of people do appendix because it's easy to pull your shirt and have access to your gun. Now problem is, medically, when you have a gun going off here, you're shooting your femoral artery and your nerve. So this could kill you. You're shooting off one of the major arteries. So you're gonna lose a lot of blood really fast, okay? So don't do this. Always do this. And actually, when you have it at 3 o'clock and when you have your arm down, it actually shows a lot less than showing it here or showing it back there. Now, some people have it in the back, two problems. You see this online on YouTube. You see people sneak up behind you, pull your gun and run. This happens a lot, okay? Because criminals, they see their gun in the back, their eyes are not on it, they're gonna come and steal your gun with, okay? And the second reason is that when you have your gun in the back, when you pull to shoot, your gun is swinging forward. So your muzzle is aiming everything else. So if in an excitement you put your gun and you go boom here, you just shot the person next to you before you came up to the front. Okay, so right here, this is all we practice, and right here is where you want to have it. Real flashlight. Now there's a big misunderstanding about this flashlight. I just made a video of it. I'm gonna show it because people keep asking me like, Dr. Park, you're against flashlight. Why? How do you identify what you're shooting at? Okay. Now the reason why we get so into this is because we see a lot of movies, and this is big money thing. Because people are buying stuff like crazy. And the reason is because we see FBI's, we see special force, we see military personnel has light. They're going, they're searching, and they're putting down the potential threat. Now, when you're at home, and for military and special agents, they need this because they're going into unfamiliar area. Let's say I'm breaking into this house, trying to neutralize the threat. I don't know this house, right? So in the dark, I'm gonna trip over, I'm gonna fall, so I need the light to find my way. And I'm not alone. I have 3-4 people with me. They're covering different corners, so they know exactly what's safe and what's not. Okay. Now when you're at your home, if you turn the lights off, are you able to make your way through the house without tripping over or falling? In most cases, it is trouble. In most cases, we are able to make our way through. For example, like in the middle of the night, I get up, I need to go to the bathroom. I don't have to turn the lights on. I can go to the bathroom, come back without turning the lights on. But for the bad guys, do they need the light? Definitely. They don't know your house. So they need the light to make their way through the house. So single candlelight can be seen from 1.6 miles away. So the light is very, very visible in the dark. If you hear something, and if something's happening, if you turn the lights on, or if you turn your flashlight on, the bad guys are going to see that first. And they're going to wait and see the light coming at them. And as soon as they see the light, they shoot at the light. It's a known fact by FBI data. So most people, when they have their gun with their flashlight like this, or have a flashlight on their gun, walking around like this, and if the bad guy is waiting, he's going to shoot right at the light. And when you shoot at the light, he got you. He's going to be shooting at your body. So having the flashlight at home defense doesn't make any sense. Darkness is your friend. So you actually have to turn the lights off, not turn it on. Okay? When something happens, turn the lights off. And let's say you're hiding in your room, and there's a predator outside trying to break into your room or whatever, and you got your gun ready. Let's say they bust your room and walk in and the lights are on. They're gonna see where you are in a heartbeat. But let's say you have a lights off, right? And they have a flashlight. They break your door and run in. Are they gonna find you? It's gonna take them at least a couple of seconds to find you because they don't know where you're hiding. They're actually looking for you in the dark, right? In that moment, you have a chance to either shoot or to defend yourself. Darkness is actually better for the homeowners, not for the criminals, okay? So because FBI have all the data, FBI have a different flashlight hole. So they're holding their flashlight like this and they're constantly moving it. So the bad guys, when they shoot at the light, you're not getting shot. Your hand might get shot. Next page is called Harry's hold. Harry's hold, this is most common hold that we see. Like you see a policeman walking like this, and a lot of times people misunderstand, thinking you're resting your pistol hand on your wrist. It's not. You're putting against it like this. So when you shoot, you could actually control the recoil. Okay. So it's holding it like this, and then we have what we call a cigar hold or short fire, which I don't recommend. It's very difficult. It's not easy. I don't own any tactical flashlight at all because I'm not gonna use it. It's just a waste of money. Some of them are very expensive. And draw and fire, I'm gonna talk to you later about it. I'm gonna demonstrate it, but we're not gonna do any draw and fire today. It can be dangerous unless we know for a fact the safety. You have a muscle memory for the safety where we know for 100% sure that we're not gonna have our finger in the trigger until we're up on the target.
Now, if you've been following my channel, you've already seen my instruction on gun safety, proper handling, range rules, stance, and how to grip. So I'm gonna skip this part and go straight to shooting. Now they already have taken few shooting classes, so they are very familiar with the gun. But at the beginning, they struggle with the accuracy because of the grip and muzzle control. But they caught on really fast, and toward the end, they were hitting the target 100%.
Okay, when I say make it ready, that means you take your gun out, put the magazine in, work it, okay, and then have it on the high ready position, okay? Okay, let's make it ready. Gun's always pointing forward. Okay. High ready position is against your chest. Extend. Fire when you're ready. Finger out, retrieve. Extend. Fire. Finger out, retrieve. Okay, now this time you're gonna try something a little bit different, okay? Have your trigger finger pull the trigger just about halfway. Stop right there. Right there. Slowly pull the trigger. Okay. Retrieve. Yeah. That means you're anticipating a shot. Retrieve. You have to pull the trigger slower. And don't think about the bang. Just pull the trigger, pull the trigger, pull the trigger, pull the trigger until it goes bang. Not pull, okay? So don't think about the bang. Got much better. All right. Extend. Fire. Okay, so it's getting better. Better, you got that in, but you're still shooting low, okay? Now, are you putting your front sight in the center of the target?
At the X?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the front sight is covering the X.
Yes.
Okay, that's how it should be. And are you doing the same thing? Your front sight covering the X? Okay. Let's try one more time. Retrieve. Extend. Fire. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Okay, everybody's definitely getting better. Okay, let's try that one more time. Retrieve. Extend. Fire. Slow, slow.
I changed my grip a little bit.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and fire. Oh, much better. Now you're getting to the center now. That's good. Pull real slow until it goes bang, okay? All right, let's try one more time. Extend. Fire. Okay, retrieve. Much better. Your thumbs keep coming up, okay? Thumbs do not touch the slide. We're gonna make it safe, meaning remove your magazine. Put in your pocket. Release the action. Pull the trigger. Okay, now holster. Now we're safe. Okay, let's look at the target. Okay, let's think about the basics. Okay, your stance. Let's make it ready. Work the action. Okay, high ready position. Extend. Fire. Oh, good job. Good. Yeah, retrieve. Okay, you both did very well this time. Fire when you're ready. Oh, good job. Okay, stay. Don't retrieve yet. Oh, good job. Okay. Both of your first two shots in the money. Okay, so we're doing much better now. Fire when you're ready. Woo. All right. Okay, retrieve. You got the bullseye. It's touching the line. That's good. All right, guys. Extend. Fire when you're ready. Way to go. Retrieve. Fire when you're ready. Woo. Same time. Retrieve. Extend. Fire when you're ready. Retrieve. You guys are doing really well. Your fingers are always out. You got a great group going on right there. That's a nice tight group.
thank you.
Fire when you're ready. Good. Retrieve. You guys got your trigger finger out automatically. That's really good. All right, extend. Fire when you're ready. Oh. Way to go. All right. Retrieve. Extend. Fire when you're ready. Retrieve. All right, let's go take a look at the target. Wow, I'm proud of this, guys. Look at that. Huh. That's really good shooting. Proud of you. And it only took 10 shots to get better, right? Just boom, much better. All right. Eric, you did much, much better too. Yeah. Wow. A lot of holes, before not so many holes. And now you're coming to the center, okay? So this time, after this, you're gonna try the steel targets, okay? Same 5 yards, you're gonna shoot the steel target, and it gets a lot more fun. Now, when I say fire, you don't need to fire fast. Shoot at your own pace, have it at the wall, pull, bang, okay? Don't rush it. Don't anticipate the shot. Don't think about the bang. Just trigger coming back slowly, okay? Extend, fire. All right. Now you shot low again. Okay, now you're shooting to the left. Okay, that means when you pull the trigger, your gun is moving. Just pull straight back, okay?
Okay.
Fire when you're ready.
Oh, I missed that time.
There we go.
Oh!
Good job. All right. Woo, dead center that time. Good job. All right. Fire when you're ready. Good job. Retrieve. Okay, now when I say extend, I'm just gonna have you guys shoot whenever you're ready, okay? Don't wait for my fire command. When you're done shooting, pull your finger out and retrieve and just wait, okay? Extend. Extend. Retrieve. Extend. You're still missing to the left. Go down straight and think about your finger trigger, okay? Just pull it backwards. Don't push, right? Your gun straight tight and just pull it backward, okay? If you have your finger in too deep, it's gonna push this way. So right there, have your finger trigger right there and just pull it backwards. Okay, like this, not like this.
Okay.
Ready? Extend. Good job. Way to go. Okay. Let's do the same thing one more time. Yes. It's your trigger finger. So when you're pulling a trigger, you're anticipating a shot and you're pulling it like that. So we're gonna go straight, we're gonna go straight back. Okay? You guys wanna go for another round?
I'm down for it.
I need more practice anyway.
All right, guys, let's make it ready. All right. All right, that's center. Good. Woo. Yeah, killing it with that one. Extend. Retrieve. Every time you're rushing it, you're shooting low. Good job. Woo. All right, you guys are killing it now. Make it safe. I'm really, really impressed with both of you. You definitely shot the hell out of that target, that's for sure. And the group that you're shooting is very center. I gotta tell you, man, you guys did really good. And you guys even shoot that much. You know, we probably shot, what, 50 rounds each of you? Maybe even more. Now, they drove 3 hours to come to my class. So I really want to provide more than what they expected. And they told me they were extremely happy with my class.
and the improvement on the shooting on single day was more than what they expected, and they're looking forward to take more defense shooting classes in the future. Well, if you're interested in my class, shoot me an email in my description, and I could tailor the class just for you guys so you can make the most out of it. See you.